to give you a quick review of the Exult 500 by STX. First off, I want to say they did an awesome job revamping this head. The Exult line is specified by STX to be mostly for midfielders. This one particularly has been engineered to be great for taking the draw, although you can honestly use it in any position and get away with it fine. First off, to mention improvements from the last model. The last model had a much lower flare. The flare refers to how the head deviates from the midline as it ascends up towards the scoop. So the flare, what I'm talking about, begins right about, I would say, pretty much right here, which is incredibly high. I think the reason they were going for that is so that you can get a very deep pocket in the highest pocket placement, which is where you want it to be if you're taking draws, because you want a deep inverse pocket. And as you can see, that's pretty deep, pretty high up there. Other things that I like about the head, I'm just going to talk about it in contrast to the Crux, since that's a very widely used one, is the scoop. So on the Crux, it has a very pointed scoop, and sometimes you kind of shish kebab yourself if you're going for a ground ball, and you end up, sometimes the scoop is so pointed that it kind of digs into the ground, especially if you're not playing on turf. This one is a very nicely rounded scoop, as you can see. Not very pointed at all. It does have a small curvature right here, just to allow the ball to follow one path right out of it. But it's great for ground balls. I think that's possibly why they made the scoop less pointed, was because midfielders generally do pick up more ground balls, especially off of the draw. So the other thing that I wanted to point out was this sidewall design. So it's hard to tell. Let me see. There, okay. So if you look at the sidewall, from this knot right here to this knot, it completely bypasses the elbow, meaning like the sidewall string doesn't have to follow the length of the elbow. It doesn't have to follow all the way up here. That's important because it allows you to attach the cross lace at a lower position, basically like right there in the head. So they're bringing the entire pocket up this way in the head, allowing for a deeper overall pocket once the ball is in there. I really hope that STX continues in this direction of having super slim channeled heads, just because if you can't catch when you're on defense and you need that extra surface area that the Fortress provides, you need to hit the wall. You don't need to buy a new head. I truly don't believe there should be position-specific heads. I really don't. I think a defender could use this all day long and be completely content, especially with the scoop like this, because it makes it easier for ground balls in comparison to the Crux. Oh, and one thing that I am not a huge fan of is the tiny, tiny, itty-bitty little bottom holes. These guys right here, if I really, really try, I can stick two cross laces and this runaway pocket through, but I chose not to this time. I just tied it off over here, but I would like the ability to be able to stick something else besides a needle through there. All right, I'm exaggerating, but just make them a little bit bigger, especially if you're using an all leather pocket. These are tiny, and you can see in comparison to the leather that the leather would really be getting gripped into right there. So, or getting bit into, I mean to say, right there. So I really wish that they made these holes a little bit bigger. If you're gonna mess up on something, it's not a big deal, but it's, you know, it could be better. Overall, it's a great head. I'd recommend it to pretty much any player, any position, even any experience level. I've been using one instead of a Crux, and I used a Crux all throughout college as my favorite. But yeah, this is poised to replace a Crux if girls start trying it out, start experimenting with something besides the Crux. So I hope that you guys try it out, and thank you so much for watching.